Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn how to log Django Rest Framework APIs into our database. So for this I created a test API with two methods, get and post. I'm responding with some data in these two APIs. Let's see how it looks like in Postman. So let's try with post method and with these parameters. So as you can see, it's working fine. Let's call get method and both are working fine. Great. Now to log the Django Rest Framework APIs into our database, I'm going to use DRF API Logger. Let's follow the documents. URL is nothing but the endpoint of the API. Request party, if in post method the data you is going to send, that will be logged. Request header, if you send any header. Request method, which is get and post or put or delete. API response is what data API is sent back to the client. For example, in our case, this will be the response data. Okay, API status code, which is like 200, 400, 500, anything. API call time, when this API is actually called. Server execution time, that means how much time our business logic took to execute and return back the response. And finally, client IP address. So let's follow the document. So it says install DRF API Logger. Okay, I'm going to install DRF API Logger. Okay, install. So it says add this app into our installed app. Okay, let's go to settings, and here I'm going to add DRF API Logger and add in middleware, which is this one. I'm going to add this in our middlewares. Okay, and finally it says to store the logs into database. I have to set this variable into our settings.py file. At the bottom of this file, I'm going to set this DRF API Logger to true. Okay, so these are some pictures how it's going to look like. Okay, let's now try to migrate. Python minus.py migrate. Okay, okay, model is created. Let's see how our admin panel is going to look like. Great, API logs is available. Let's see. Okay, it's empty, nothing is there. Okay, now let's try to call the APIs using Postman. So first I'm going to try with get method with no parameters, nothing, no headers, no body, and let's see. All right, one time I'm going to call multiple times. Okay, now I'm going to try with post method and with this parameter. Okay, let's try to call multiple times. Okay, great. Let's see it is logged or not. So my server is running. Okay, okay, it's logged. So as you can see, data is available. Great, great. Okay. Okay, so now next thing is okay, so you can also listen for the signals. Let's say you don't want to log everything into our database, or maybe if you want to log the response into some other database, for example, Elasticsearch. For that, we have to use signal and we have to make it true. Okay, let's see in somewhere how it's going to look like. So for that, I need to set this variable in our settings.py file. Now it says import this signal. Okay, I'll try importing here. Okay, now you can listen in multiple functions. I'll listen to this function. To listen to the signals, I have to set this function to API logger signal. Okay, I created this function and I passed this to listener as mentioned in the document. Now this function is a print whenever the API is called. Let's try out. So I'm going to use again Postman and let's see. Okay, yeah, it's printed. You can see in console it's printed. Great. So I'm not going to use signal right now. Okay, let's see what else we have. So Django for Django Rest Framework, DRF API Logger uses queue to hold the APIs into this queue, and after this queue is full, it's going to log everything into our database, which is bulk insert. This at the end is going to improve our performance. Also, it's going to wait for some time, which is by default 10 seconds. After that, if any data is there in the queue, it's going to log into our database. You can also escape can escape entire app to be logged into our database, and also you can escape the URL. And also you can, if you want, you can change the path type, which is endpoint. So for my case, I'm also going to change this to full path. So I'm going to change this to full path and wait for the server to restart. Now let's try to call the APIs using Postman. Okay, let's try with some get method and let's see how it's going to look like. Okay, here it is. So all those latest API will come at the top. Great. I can also do filter based on status code, based on method, and based on the added on time. Okay, now I'm going to try with different status code. For example, 400 in get and 500 in post method. So let's try out in get method. The status code is 400, and let's try in post method. Yeah, internal server error, which is 500 status code. And now I'm again going to see, is it logged? Obviously, it's going to wait for 10 seconds. Let's refresh. Yeah, it's logged. So I need to remove these filters, and you can see 400 and 500 status code is present. And this is the execution time of the server. This is not the response time. So as you can see in Postman, response time was 7 milliseconds, but actually server side it took very less. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you're going to like this video.